joining us now on another live edition of Hidden Horsepower. He won the Dodge SRT U.S. Nationals in the NHRA Nitro Funny Car category. He's also a great character. He's got Wilkes Warriors. A ton of fans out there. Mr. Tim Wilkerson. And Lake Speed is back. You were at the track not long ago. Yes, you actually shaved. We heard you were coming in unshaven. What happened?
Well, I called and asked. I said, "Is this going to be a good looking as Mr. Castello?"
Right.
No matter what I do, so I'll shave and do my best.
Well, I gotta say, it looks great.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate
great.
it. So this year has been, I think, if someone in your position, a veteran of the sport, can have like a breakout, like a re-breakout year. You had spent. He had been like to 9 straight final rounds, runner-up, but you broke through. Yeah,
I finally did. I mean, we used to be a shoe-in in the finals. I had a great finals record until the last few years, and it went to hell in a handbasket, unfortunately, as my grandma would say. So, but win in Indy and then went on to win Charlotte. That was pretty cool, and had a good car the last couple of races. Just really found the wrong person to race.
Well, first round, it was just a brutal run. You and J.R. Todd, and I think I owe you an apology because I think I might have gotten him mad and made some of that up.
That was fun, wasn't it?
Yes.
He's a sentimental little guy. You got to be careful with him.
You shouldn't say little.
Well, he's
the same size as me.
Christ, he weighs 140 pounds sopping wet, maybe.
But no, we had
he's a little bitty guy.
The Texas Motorplex, we had a moment. It was kind of cool. Sat down and we're talking.
It was fun, yeah.
But he got amped up for it.
Yeah, he did. He was he was getting all mad, so I sat him down. But you see me get down there and sit down. I said, come on, sit down here and let's show some friendship. You know what I mean? But no,
and then he goes out there and just what a run.
What a low ET of the weekend against me. So, but
that's heartbreaking right there.
Well, right? I mean, I lost by 0.005 of a second. At 331 miles an hour, we were that far apart. So it was really a cool race. But and then the next round they smoked the tires. I went over and told them. I said, really?
Yeah.
I mean, after you do that to me, you flog me, and then you smoke the tires 2 runs in a row. At least I wouldn't have done that. I guarantee you, folks, that wouldn't have happened if I'd have been in the next round. So anyway,
you get down the racetrack, though.
They've already been reprimanded, so we're over that.
Well, good. Now, but this year though, as a single car team and what we an owner operator, if you will, you do it all yourself for the most part.
I got a lot of hats, no doubt about it.
But that's unheard of these days.
Well, I'm probably a prima donna, no doubt about that. But we look at people to hire. I was listening to your other podcasts about. Because I own an engine repair shop also, right? I'm a big machine shop back in Illinois, and we have the same problems that everyone does. But, to hire somebody that I can afford that does a better job than me, I can't. I don't have anybody. So, and unfortunately for me, I have to live within my means, and that's how we end up doing what we're doing. But, I have Richard Hartman. He's kind of the team leader out there for me, and I feel that we really take care of the important parts of our car. The car runs on power and clutch. So I got good guys working on the clutch, and Richard takes care of the superchargers. Him and I got a real good thought process on how we like to do things, and then when we get out to the racetrack, the same way. He'll call back to me and talk to me about what he feels and what he sees, and then I'll make a decision on what I'm going to do. A lot of times we change it sitting right in the car. So I changed it right before first round against JR. In fact, it got hot, and I watched Blake in front of me smoke the tires, and I got on the radio and I said, Richard, damn it, slow this thing down a little bit. And then JR went out and whooped me, so maybe I shouldn't have slowed it down, right?
Or maybe it'd have blown him off.
Or maybe it would have blown him off. Yeah, you don't,
right.
I mean, you can second, that's the worst thing about our sport. You can second guess yourself. I call it the walk back to the pit area crew chief. That guy knows everything. Yeah. He's never made a mistake. It's ridiculous how smart that guy is. So
and that's the drag racing equivalent of the Monday morning quarterback?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Walk back crew chief.
Yeah, you're walking back to the pit area, and you know what we should have done, Mike? Well, hell yeah, that's pretty easy to say now, right? But anyway, no, thank you very much. We've had a great season, and we've always got a pretty good car. It's just that, sometimes it doesn't ebb and flow like you want, and qualifying's a lot of it. I just didn't qualify good enough last weekend. If I'd have qualified a little better, but looked at when we smoked the tires the first qualifier and then second run, I said, well, I don't want to go into Saturday unqualified. So I drug it back a little bit and went 93 at 327, ended up like 7th or something like that. And then GR went a little faster than us, so we ended up 8th and I ended up 9th. So anyway,
the rest is
you can win from 8th. I want to win any from 8th. So
right. No, it's been a good year. The playoffs going to be kind of a challenge, but you want to wreck some shop for some other folks out there.
No, I'm still we're dedicated into winning the last 3 races. Trust me, we really are, and I think we can. We got a good car, and if I can do my job, and everything will be good. I tell listening to you again about employees and how to bring people into our sport and bring people into machine shops and auto repair shops, because I have one of those also. The same kind of thing. I tell all the kids that work for me, make me the problem. I need to be the problem, not you. this is how I want it done. Really simple. Don't make a mistake, then it's always my fault. I'm either tuning it wrong or driving it wrong in our race car, right? Same way in our shop. Teach all them kids how I want it to do, and then I don't have to hear, well, at Forces, this is how we did it. This is at Schumacher, this is how we did it. At Jim Hids, this is how we did it. At Cletus, I don't care how them guys do it. This is how I want it done.
The Wilkerson way.
Well, I don't know whether it's right or not, but like I said, then they're never wrong, right? If you do it the way I want to do it, then it's not your fault.
On you, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
And that's why I said, always make me the problem.
That makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, and then I'm sure Lake will jump in with a couple of things, but, the Nitro Funny Car, the beast that is the 11,000 horsepower Nitro Funny Car, right? At one point, just going down the racetrack is in many ways like a little miracle that it even goes down the track.
Yeah,
and people watch them and they're thrilling.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, wow, they're so fast, 0 to 100 miles an hour in 0.8 of a second.
Yeah.
Wow, so amazing. But the competition right now...
Yeah,
would you ever have dreamed it would be as close and compact and tight as it is right now?
No, not really. I mean, basically that's NHRA's fault, in my opinion. That's they squash the rules into so where there's not a lot of R&D anymore, right? So now we've all caught up to what this guy did and this guy did and this guy did. So we're in a pretty good group. So now we're tinkering. I mean, it's a tinkerer's guide now, in my opinion.
Like Pro Stock.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm thinking. This is Pro Stock with Nitro now.
Right. Yeah, only they're cool. They're not like Pro Stock cars. So
burn.
Anyhow,
Warren's on his way back now.
Shot on Warren. Yeah, exactly.
I had so much fun with. I used to tell Warren. Can I tell my Warren story? Or
yes.
Not?
Yes, please. Yes. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Back when they were trying to kill Pro Stock truck, and I liked Pro Stock truck, and I told Warren was adamant. Oh, this is Pro Stock truck. I said, Warren, you know what you need to do? What do we need to do? I said, you need to put a big motor in those Pro Stock trucks, like a big mountain motor, 700-inch motor. Really? I said, yeah. Get a flatbed trailer. You could put your car on the back of the trailer. You could put the bike in the back of the truck, and you run all that junk at the same time. you dirty SOB. I mean, then you get to the Nitro cars, what people want to see, And he's like, all right. So he's never forgive me for that.
Wow.
But it was fun to beat him up anyway.
That would be exciting.
But think about it. You the truck and the bike and the car, you run them all at the same time.
I am a fan of Pro Stock.
Yep.
I am not offended by what you said. I love Pro Stock, but I get what you're saying.
We got to tell him what he said, though, right?
Yeah.
Warren was sitting next year yesterday. He said, well, you know what Nitro and superchargers are for?
Oh, yeah.
Guys who can't build engines.
Yeah, guys who can't build motors, right? Yeah, yep. Oh, yeah. Now, there's no doubt about it. We're not looking for 5 horsepower.
No.
I piss away more horsepower out my clutch than Warren Johnson's motors make. So I don't really
probably
need
truth in there, right?
Yeah.
The supercharger takes half that.
Yeah, it blows right out the back of the bell housing.
Drop some stats on some folks out there. We got a lot of engine guys uninitiated, even NASCAR guys. One cylinder of a nitro engine is more than a cup car makes. But to turn the supercharger.
Yeah, we don't really. I don't know that we know. I mean, it's probably 700 or 800 horsepower to change it to turn that thing, right? I mean, it's tough. And the faster you run it, the harder it is to turn. So we're very fortunate that our motors stay together in reality. Warren is right on one hand that them things are just a rolling bomb. You put enough volume of nitro in them to make them so dangerous that if they misfire, they blow up, right? So it's a bad deal. They're not quite as cool as Pro Stock motors. There's no doubt about that.
You're keeping Jeff busy, though.
Yeah.
You're keeping Jeff busy.
We're very. We knock on wood. I've lost one motor a year in the last 2 years, and that they were not due to any mechanical problems that I created. They were just bad luck. And they're all valve train stuff.
Yeah. And
I'm not going to name names, but it was just bad luck.
Stuff happens.
Yeah. That thing goes from 2,500 to 8,500 in a quarter of a second, and so the valve train goes.
Well, think about that. Let's be specific to the valve train.
Yeah.
A lot of people may not know that your roller lifters don't have one axle on them.
Yeah, I know.
There's actually 2.
Yeah, they're beat up. Well, now, see, I don't run that brand, so you can't beat me up for a Morel lifter.
That's fine. Okay. but that was an innovation, right?
Yeah.
There's so much cylinder pressure.
Yeah,
that's where I was trying to go, right?
Yeah, Coyle came up with that years ago.
Yeah.
Coyle looked at that lifter and went, well, if that thing had another one to keep this one from flexing, that would be really cool.
Right.
Well, we've since then just made the axles bigger and the bearing bigger and more surface area, so it slows down the speed of the roller. It makes it a lot better.
Right.
So, but yeah, knock on wood, we're really good with lifters. But again, that's all in learning how mechanical things work, and it all comes from regular aspirated engines. In reality, and Fred Mandolini has taught me more about engines than anybody I've ever known, and he's just quite the innovator. But he's from Chicago, so I can't say anything that he says on TV. The words come out wrong. So, but again, I learned a lot about valve train and cylinder pressure and why things happen and how they go right and how they go wrong, and I can see that. Like, we changed camshafts for this year. I started buying cylinder heads from John Force Racing last year, and his heads are a little different. They're a little different than what we had before. So we changed camshaft locations and how we chain it, where we put it in. Immediately, I see lifter problems and camshaft problems. Immediately.
Yep.
With a 2-degree change in overlap and camshaft installation, which sounds ridiculous.
Right.
To me, I'm like, 2 degrees? That
should be nothing.
Who cares?
Right.
Well, I run over the top of the Magic Mountain.
Yep.
I'm on the wrong side of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's
you didn't know you were 2 degrees away from failure.
Well, I did know because Mandolini told me that.
You just didn't believe him.
But I did. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like, never do this. Okay, well, the more we do it, the longer we do it. I mean, we run little, like in 08 when I was doing so well. Fred came up with a camshaft and had another guy that looked at cylinder heads for us. And back then, nobody was looking at cylinder heads, right? So we had some cylinder head work done that was spectacular. That's why my car was so fast. That and a great guy by the name of Les Davenport, who's very, very smart.
Yes.
And he pulled me aside one day and he goes, "Wilkerson, I hate fuel guys, but I love you. And if you want help, I'll help you." And he took my program from here to here. I'm been so fortunate to be surrounded by all these smart people that were nice enough to keep me from looking like an idiot. But you listen to them. Hey, like, this is what you told me, right? Like, okay, I put that in my pocket. Fred, this is what you told me. Okay, I put that in my pocket.
That's it.
Davenport tells me, okay, I put that in my pocket. So it's pretty interesting, though, really. Very exciting for me because, I'm not that smart. I've just been lucky to be surrounded by smart people and try to apply it without getting out of my range of thought process.
Yeah, but a leader and able to motivate. And
I pride myself on my people. Ever since I've started my business, I got 2 kids that work for me in my gas stations in 1982 that still work for me.
That's impressive.
Yeah, still do. They've been with me for 30 some years. So great kids and still work hard and just can't complain about them at all. But I've been lucky with that. Richard Hartman, Rich Schendel, who owns a little business that he sells a ton of parts out here in our industry, and just a lot of people like that. Very lucky. Yeah,
it's amazing. You're saying about that team though of people. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
I'm in the same way.
Yeah,
people say, "Oh, you're so smart." No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm from Mississippi. I ain't smart, right?
Yeah. You know where the crawdad hole is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But I've been fortunate to be around people like Billy Godbold and Scooter and Kazi and yourself.
Right. Yeah.
It is, and you do.
Yeah.
You take away. You need to be thinking.
Yep.
Take away those little nuggets.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what John was talking about the other day. Coming up here, said, I got to make sure I give somebody some kind of nugget out of this thing.
Right.
Because otherwise, what am I watching? What am I investing my time for?
Right.
Yeah, I need to give back, and it's that exchange.
Yeah.
So, it is neat to see what you guys have achieved. I remember years ago someone saying that Sonny Bryant had done the calculations and said, these things got to be making about 10,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
Because if you take a brand new crankshaft, put it in the engine, we measure it before.
Yeah.
Send it down the track at Pomona, pull it back out and remeasure it, the amount of force that would take to move that.
To bend it like it does. Yeah.
Right. That's got to be about 10,000 horsepower. Then the AVL guys came out with those sensors. And remember, Racing and Technology, they had a magazine article about it.
Yep.
And was it 11,000 they got it tuned up to once?
Yeah, a ton. It's got a ton of torque too. Yeah,
cool.
That's the crazy stuff about that. Yeah.
Yeah, craziness.
Yeah, I was at dinner with Mandolini and Sonny Bryant one day, and he was just beating Sonny Bryant into the ground about his crankshafts that they were made out of old Toyotas or something because they were breaking so quickly. I'll never forget that as long as I live. He's like, Sonny, can you make these things out of old Chevrolets or something that won't break so easy? So we had a great time with that. But
I bet.
Yeah, Sonny I tell you what, he's a serious loss to our industry.
Oh,
what a tremendous guy that was. And like I said, and this is another person I never thought about him. Yesterday I talked to John Partridge from Bullet Cams.
Yes.
Same way. Him and Mandolini John had called me about it, something we were working on, and I said, hey, I need this and I need that. And I just talked to your buddy Fred, and we're fighting over a camshaft. But again, I listen to them guys and put that in my bank, because boy, it might be tomorrow or it might be next year. I'll see a problem and I'll go, remember that so-and-so said XYZ about that problem.
Right.
And it may not ever apply to my race car, but a lot of times it does.
Yeah, and John's a guy that's been there and done that.
Oh man, John's fun. Yeah, no, he's what a great person to have on your team.
Oh, he is.
Because he's just so smart and he's seen it all.
Right.
And that's what I like about the old guys, and that's what's going to be sad in years to come. The old guys that we need the kids to come in and listen to them old guys like you were talking about, because man, they've seen it all.
Well, that was one of the most fortunate things for me.
Yeah, you especially. You're a good example of that.
If it hadn't been for guys like Mike Mucha and Jerry Rutter, who worked for Lubrizol, that they had a company-wide program because they saw this coming.
Yeah.
Man, we know through technology advances in the 70s and 80s, I mean, we didn't need all these people anymore.
Yeah.
But then they realized, well, the only people that knew anything
were the people who didn't think we knew.
Were about to leave.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we got to have this mentorship program.
Yeah.
So that's where I learned a lot of stuff about oil was those guys being able to be part of their mentorship program and taking their classes, and those guys telling you things and showing me, they gave us the way.
Right.
Then we were able to take that knowledge and then back to what Chuck and Steve were talking about, apply it.
Right.
Because when I was able to take what those guys had told me, then go out to Ronnie Schaefer's dyno and start flogging on motors, then it became real fun.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. See, that's what I mean. I really enjoy that kind of stuff too. I know what you're saying.
Well, it's you got to take that knowledge and put it into action. And obviously, you guys are doing that because you're going down the track really fast.
Yeah. We're fortunate with that.
Well, 380s and 1,000 feet. But what I found to be interesting is Steve just dropped a stat on me a little while ago. I didn't know you were a .90 racer back in the day.
Oh yeah. No,
so give us that arc, like Wilkerson.
That started,
like cars, got involved in drag racing, like before Nitro. Like, what was going on? How did that happen?
Yeah, born in the greatest era of the world. My brother-in-law is 10 years older than me. I'm 61, so he had a 60-something Chevrolet, and we'd cruise the strip and whistle at girls and fell in love with cars. Right? I mean, coolest thing in the world. So as soon as I was able to, I was actually in school getting a civil engineering degree and working at a gas station, and had a little bracket car and having a ball and that's from there on, I don't know, running the cars, right? Cars were my life.
Going faster and faster.
Yeah, you couldn't stand it any longer, right? You've been there. Oh, yeah. You just couldn't stand it any longer. So we really enjoyed that part of life and had a bracket car for 8 or 10 years and could never beat any of those guys. They were just spectacular. So, losing by thousandths of a second all the time, I got irritated with that. So decided I was going to go, 890, 990, 890 racing, and did that for a few years, and then decided to get an alcohol funny car. And after that, I went. I drove a Nitro car in '95, and I'll never forget. I called home, and my wife said, "I knew when you called me that we were in trouble because it sounded like you won the lottery every time you called. You were so excited."
Wow.
And I said, "Well, I didn't really know what was so cool about a Nitro car. I knew watching them that I fell in love with them.
Right.
But after I drove one, I thought, I don't know what. There's nothing cooler than that. Nothing. So." If I get to do that, fine. If I don't, I can say I did it. So
no, I can totally relate to that because look at my dad. 20 years in NASCAR. Right. He retired, and it was tough to retire.
Sure, yeah.
And he did some work for some teams and all that, and he's kind of just struggling a little bit to figure what do I do now?
Find a home, yeah.
Right. Well, then one of his buddies called him up and said, "Hey, listen, we're having this go-kart race in Quincy, Illinois. Mm-hmm. It's a vintage race. We want you to come up and
those are cool.
be part of the thing. We want to, kind of a Hall of Fame thing. We want to acknowledge the fact that you're only American world champion."
Yeah.
And he's like, him and Han, the guy said, when we are running rate carts, so you can come drive one of the carts if you want to. He said, said, Terry's not going to have his Terry's the track owner's son, mm-hmm. Right? Terry Trader. And he said Terry's not going to have his C open cart. That's the twin engine.
Yeah, them are cool.
Twin 135 on methanol.
Yeah.
Hot rod go kart, right? Said Terry's going to have his C open cart. He said, "Yeah." "Can I drive it?"
There you go.
If you come, you can drive it.
That's cool.
He came up with the whole thing, and my stepmom said, "I knew the moment he got off the cart."
Yeah.
The look on his face.
Yeah.
Because we took that back part of the shop, which was the old engine shop, mm-hmm. which was just stuff in there. It's totally gutted. It's a go-kart shop. We got go-kart engine dynos and everything. He found that love, right? It's like, I loved those things when I was a kid.
Yep.
I still love them. And if I can still drive them, I'm going to drive them. So I don't blame you a second, right?
That's cool.
I remember the first time I went down the racetrack in a two-stroke. Start racing go-karts.
Yep.
Four-cycle Briggs. That first time you get a two-cycle, oh, buddy, it's like, this is a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
I'm in. So that the feel for speed. Now, the thing is, I think funny cars are the coolest things in drag racing. I love Matt. Pro Stock Racing's cool. And I do love actual racing.
Yep.
But I remember going to Jackson International Raceway in Mississippi. I had to have been maybe 6 or 7 years old. Had night qualifying, looking at funny cars.
Yeah.
And back then, I thought Snake and Mongoose were the coolest thing on the planet. That was awesome.
Yep.
To meet Ed Pink was like the pinnacle of my life. I'm like, this is the guy that built those engines. How cool is that?
That's cool.
Like, he knows my name.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
No, I don't disagree with you.
Well, who did you look up to at that time?
Well, I was the same way. Force was nobody then. He was just a bum blowing up cars. You know what I mean? And he'll tell you that.
Yeah,
so.
leaker.
Yeah, he was.
I was a leaker.
Yeah, he was. So, I was always partial to Kenny. Bernstein was, and I don't know if it's just, I had 5 gas stations at one time, and I decided that I couldn't do the right thing until I went and got an accounting program done. So I went and got an accounting degree so that I could understand why I was doing what I was doing and the money I was taking in and where it was going and how it was being distributed and blah, 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 and the margins and all that stuff. And that's what I always thought was cool about Kenny is he didn't come into that sport going, well, I'm going to be a race car driver. He was going to be a winning race car driver that made money.
Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, exactly.
I'll never forget in 1995 or 6, we were at the NHRA banquet, and a guy from Budweiser stood up there and said, we invested $100 million in NHRA drag racing in the last 10 years. And I said, that Kenny Bernstein is my hero. So, anyway, and it wasn't just for Kenny, of course, because they had the Big Bud Shootout and they had all kinds of other crap they did. But I thought that was really cool. And through the years, I was fortunate enough to become friends with Kenny and just a terrific businessman. And when he put his helmet on, that went away.
Yeah, you're dead serious.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I was. When he come back in the funny car there, and I raced him a couple times, he never could beat me, but shit, he had a 60 light to my 80 every time we stepped on the gas, and the guy's 15 years older than me. Hey, irritated the hell out of me. But, it was just fun to see him. But he was kind of the guy that I looked up to, besides Snake and Mongoose. I watched him, Snake, Hoover, Hoffman, and somebody else at a race one time. There was 4 of them running, and I was hooked then. That was it. Whatever I had to do to be a funny car racer.
Well,
go ahead.
That makes sense. Well, no, you just it occurs to me that you were getting, as you're becoming a civil engineer, you went and got an accounting degree. I need to know this. Let me go get an accounting degree, right?
Well, it ain't a great degree, but you got to know the pluses and minuses, right? The debits and credits. That's all that makes any differences.
That is the essence of what we've been learning and talking about this entire conference, which is that you need to invest yourself and find out the why
behind the what.
The what.
Yeah, boy, kids, that's exactly true. You never stop learning ever.
Bingo.
That's what you're going to find out about this. I'd listen to you and Steve talk about getting a kid as a startup guy in a machine shop. Well, I have a machine shop, and a startup guy is always a great guy to have. We actually got a couple of kids out of some tech schools, and they did really, really well. And they worked for me for a couple of years, went on the race car team, and hell, one of them went to an IndyCar team, and another one went to a NASCAR team.
Yep.
So I keep losing them. So that aggravates me.
Yeah.
But they are doing what we're telling them. They're continuing their learning and figuring out their passions. So I'm proud of them for that.
So I want to give a shout out to my wife. My wife homeschooled all 4 of our kids, right? And they're all through school, all through in college or whatever now.
Yeah.
And what we always focused on was, hey, you have to learn how to learn.
Yeah, it's hard.
Just memorizing something is one thing, but learning how to learn, because you need to be able to continue to educate yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't learn everything I learned about oil in college or in high school. No, I had to learn it, and you have to keep learning, and you keep applying. And that's one of the great things about having like AERA and these kind of resources. You can learn a whole lot if you just go to places and just listen.
Yeah, sure. No, there's no doubt about it. That's what the cool part about being on a race car team. I just seen a new kid on Matt Hagan's team over the weekend. I said, hey, kid, are you going to work here next year? Well, I sure hope so. I said, well, I hope you do too, but if you don't, come see me.
There you go. Before we move over to the big round table, just got to get your opinion on the big news, Tony Stewart drag racing.
Yeah, that's cool, isn't it? Well, I think that's spectacular for our sport. Icon of drag racing, or of circle track racing, heads into drag racing, right? So, I mean, I don't know what could be cooler.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we need. I run into him somewhere, and I never met the guy before in my life. I mean, it was one of the races, last few races, might have been right after Charlotte or in St. Louis, and just seems like he's going to be great for our sport because he's a great guy. I mean, we talked, and he could talk your ear off. I was happy about that part of it. Because like I say, you see those guys, and they're kind of to me, they're on a different level than I am because they're professional.
They're very famous.
Yeah,
right? Let's just call it. They're very famous.
Put it how it is, right? Yeah. You say the name Tony Stewart, everybody knows who that is. Well, I'll run into somebody at the airport, and I'll tell them what I do, and they'll go, "What's your name?" And I'll say, "I raced down force."
So what's that
guy?
Okay, yeah.
The guy that talks all the time. I'm like, that guy. That's him. Yeah.
I beat him
I
last
think
week.
that's why he wants. I think that's why he wants to be here, though.
Yeah.
I think I'm just projecting my opinion, but I think that he's had enough of that.
Yeah.
And he wants to come somewhere where he can just be a racer.
Yeah.
And just race.
That's who he is.
He's a darn good racer. Yeah.
And look at you and the way you there are fans.
Yep.
But they let you work.
Yeah.
And they appreciate it. And like, there he is. So. There's Wilk. Hey, good luck, Wilk. And that's it. That's the thing that draws me to drag racing.
Yeah.
Is it's just... It is what it is.
Well, yeah, we were putting a motor in the car at Indy between rounds, and Bruno come by there, and he's like, "Holy, what the heck are you doing?" Well, everybody was busy. I'm carrying a motor and setting it in the frame rail, So
that's the kind of guy Tony is. You go up to Eldora, he'll be driving the sheep foot around.
Yeah.
He's not above anything. He's a racer's racer.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be a great fit for an HRA. Yeah. This is going to be fun to watch.
I hope so. Yeah. Welcome, Tony. Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Hidden Horsepower live here at the Engine Performance Expo. Tim Wilkerson, how great was that? If you want more, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, go and subscribe, write a review. It will be great. Lake will be on some. Keith Jones from Total Seal will be on others. I'll be on many. You can follow me, WFO Joe. You up for a big round table?
Ready.
All right, we're going to head on over to the round table discussion and bring day 2 home right now. What a day, what a day, what a day. My brain is swollen. I've learned so much today. They told us, don't start cars. We are not going to listen.